All right, here's my second YouTube video. Hopefully this one is a lot better than the first. Using a GoPro today. Yesterday I was using my phone. I've owned this GoPro for about 1.5 years, and this is the first time I'm actually using it. So this is Kenny Cooper, and this is my lawn. Give you a few more details about it on this video and what my plans are to do. Yesterday I was showing you how far the sprinkler went. I didn't really show you exactly where my yard comes to. Those trees that I said it shot past, that is actually the property line that separates me and my neighbor. I come right down straight through here. That's a fire pit right there that me and my neighbor share. We both use it. This is a soft maple that just kind of started growing on its own, and thought I'd let it keep going. It's doing pretty good. Got a few apple trees right here. We had a really cold winter about 5 years ago, and it hurt one tree, and every year it's done worse and worse. And this year I think it's finally done. This one right here is died off. Need to cut it down. The other one's still doing really good. Planted a little one right here about 3 years ago. This is the first year it's really had much for apples on it. Picked quite a few off. Still got about 20 or so on there. When the creek floods, it tries to do its own job of leveling the yard off. This is all sand that washed in when the creek flooded. Got a fair amount of it. It's pretty interesting. Every time it floods, it does something different, deposits things in different areas. Let's say it trying to level itself off. This patch right here, when it flooded, I still had my pump for the sprinkler out and a gas can. The gas can tipped over in the flood and lost just a little bit out of it, and it killed that off. Every time it floods, you lose a little bit more of the bank. It used to be right about here and connected to that point over there. I've lived here for about 13 years now. I've lost at least 15 feet of my property due to it. That little island right there used to be more over here, about 5 times that size. That disappeared last year during a flood. Got some nice large mature trees, but I also have ash trees that the emerald ash borers got to. I've taken down a couple big ones. They were right about a 3 foot across the trunk. There's another one that needs to come down. There's one more over here that needs to come down. That one right there. That'll probably be next year's project. Planted a few new trees to replace those ones. Put in 2 honey locusts last year. They're doing decent. I need to protect the bases of them. There's beaver in this creek. That's the actual name of the creek, is Beaver Creek. Until the trees get big enough to where the beavers won't try to chew them down and take them home with them. This is the other honey locust I planted. Did pretty good for the first year. 2 branches here on this side didn't really come back after the first year, but everything else greened up nice on it. This is a crab apple tree. I planted this about 4 years ago. It was only about 3 feet tall when I planted it. It's probably 8 or 9 feet tall now. And I had another one right here that the beaver got a hold of. At a distance, the yard looks pretty good, but when you're on top of it, there's a lot of bare dirt showing. Crabgrass is pretty much disappearing. Been pumping the nitrogen to it now that it's cooled off and trying to get it ready for spring. I've done 2 applications of about 3/4 of a pound each over the last 2.5 weeks. Probably gonna do one more later on this week. This is a planter bed I built. It's not real pretty right now. With the flood, it washed some stuff into it that I need to get cleaned out. This bush here is just kind of a little sucker bush that started growing. It gets a lot of berries on it though that the birds like, so I just keep it trimmed up and let it grow on its own. This is another crab apple. Got quite a few berries on it. Birds enjoy it. Here's a spot that I filled in about 8 to 12 inches of dirt when I overseeded back on September 1st, and it's not draining well. You can see the ruts I put in it while mowing. Another reason the yard's not looking that great right now is I aerated again 4 days ago. The ground's so wet, didn't really pull any plugs. It was just poking holes, but it's better than nothing. Was looking pretty decent before I did that. My plans for helping with this compaction issue is I'm going to order some aerate put down, see if that alleviates anything. The aerating's helping, but you can only aerate so many times. So hopefully I'm doing a little better on this video. I know I'll get better as we go along. Thanks again. This is Kenny. Hope you're enjoying my videos.